Oh, sorry, I'm late, Anne. Oh, what's that?
Oh, Jenny Brothers. So we went hiking with some friends today, and then we stopped at this convenience store next to a lake resort area, well, a state
Nice.
park, which in Michigan is a lake resort area.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like a gas station slash liquor store slash everything. And so this was one of the things that they had, and it's called a dinosaur skin, and it has an Easter egg in it with candy. And then you have this awesome dinosaur that goes over it. So
It's so gross. Well, open it. What's that kind of candy's in it?
it's Smarties, which I don't like, but I loved
I
the
love
dinosaur.
Smarties.
I can't get it. It's got plastic on it, so
Yeah, I
it's
know,
got
right,
Smarties in it. But Jenny, I got you one too.
Oh, yeah. I know what my Easter present is because I'm coming out for Easter. What? Oh, it's a Stegosaurus, which is my favorite dinosaur.
Exactly. That's why I got the Stegosaurus for you. So I'm like, yeah, I bought two of them at $1.49 each. So I was like, I love places like that because it's like it's got all the stuffs. Oh, man. And I'm not exaggerating, Jenny. The liquor selection was like 2 stories high. They had a ladder, not exaggerating.
Well, you got to know where your bread is buttered, and if you're a lake town in pretty much anywhere,
yeah,
you're going to have a liquor store, and it's going to be well stocked. And the thing is, that place probably is like the grocery store. It literally is, you talk about having like grocery desert. So this place has it all. It's like the BP in Dresser. It has everything. It's incredibly well stocked.
Yeah, I was going to say the nearest grocery store is probably 15 miles away in any direction. Yep. So
true that.
When you got your flip flops on and your swimsuit, do you really want to go to the Meijer? No. You want to go to the lake, side, whatever. Lakeside.
The lakeside, this lakeside party store, because in Michigan they're party stores. It's the lakeside party store with 2 stories of liquor with a ladder that some associate will go up and get for you because you got your flip flops on and you don't want to be climbing a ladder in flip flops. So
you do not. And there was I'm not exaggerating, like 10 cases of beer plus a beer cave, and then like 4 aisles of wine. It was.
And it's all fruit amazing. Wine, which is the best part. So delicious fruit wine. Yes.
The one behind us had a big case of White Claw, seltzer, boozy seltzer. So
yummy, delicious.
Yummy.
Well, speaking of yummy, Anne, I am currently enjoying my annual Shamrock shake. So yay.
I got the opposite of a Shamrock shake. Mine was from Blank Slate in Ann Arbor, which does artisan handmade small batches of ice cream with Madagascar vanilla and Vietnamese cinnamon. So wow. It's a $7 shake, and there's no bourbon in it or nothing.
No, but there's no bourbon in it or nothing. That's milk and ice cream, right?
Milk and ice cream.
The Mcflurry. Now this is the McCafe. I don't really know how much these are because Joe bought it for me because he's good. He's good to me. But yeah, and we'll talk about the Shamrock shake later. But the reason that we decided to do milkshakes today is because it is Shamrock shake season, and I've pretty much had a Shamrock shake every year for the past 41 years. 45 years. It's been every year because I like mint things anyway. Mint chip ice cream is my favorite ice cream, and so it's just. I would get one every year because it was like Shamrock shake. And then it just sort of became this thing where I'm like, dude, I got to get a Shamrock shake this year because it's Shamrock shake time and I get one every year. So yeah, I've got like a 45-year streak going.
You can't break it. Even during COVID, you can't break it.
No. And the good news is McDonald's, even last year, I was not forced to break it due to COVID because you can always go through the drive-thru. So yay.
Right. Okay.
So then in our bigger conversation about the Shamrock shake, we decided it was time for us to do a feature on the history of the milkshake, period. So there you go. So
exactly.
So let's get into it. Hang on, I got to take our brand off the background. Dude.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, yeah.
Wait, what did Duncan just say?
He's like, because he wanted a sip of it, but I told him he had to wait till the show started. He's like, there's some nutmeg in there too. And I'm like, of course. Duh.
Whatever. Like, listen, look at Duncan with the sophisticated palate. Well, I believe there's some nutmeg. I don't know where nutmeg comes from, but it's like some sort of Malaysian nutmeg. I don't know.
He does have quite the sophisticated taste.
Mm-hmm.
I have an awesome beer story of Duncan having sophisticated taste if you'd like to hear it.
I would actually right now.
Okay, so we were at this brew pub that Duncan likes to frequent. One of his friends is the brewer there, and we were with two other couples, and it's a barbecue place. So we were eating and drinking, and anyway, towards the end it was the end of dinner, and I was going to get dessert, but I didn't like their dessert menu, and Duncan and his friend Mike decided that they would have dessert beers. So they were looking at the menu. And Duncan ordered one beer and Mike ordered another beer. And the waiter brings them two beers and they look at Mike's beer and they just look at it and they're like, this isn't the beer that Mike ordered. And the kid's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, this isn't the beer. And they're looking at the menu and they're looking at the beer. And then Duncan leans over and he smells the beer and he says, oh yeah, this is this beer. This beer B. And we ordered beer A. And the waiter looks at him like, okay, so he takes away, beer A, and he brings back beer B, which is the correct beer, and he says to us at the table, the waiter says, I told the bartender that there's a guy at the table over there, and he was able to identify the beer just by smelling it. And the bartender says, oh, is Duncan here?
Don't tell Duncan his business. Don't tell Duncan his business. Never tell Duncan his
Never.
business.
Yeah, so just by smelling the beer, Duncan not only knew it was not the correct beer, he knew what beer it was.
I just think it's funny.
And he's like, oh, I just had that beer the day before. And I'm like, Duncan, I can have a beer right now and not tell you what beer it is.
I can do that. I can do that all day. And
Me too.
No idea.
I have no idea. I got no idea.
Mm-mm. All right. So let's talk about the history of the milkshake. And I have a feeling I'm on the clock because I'm lactose intolerant and drinking a milkshake. So I'm like, this might be the shortest show ever.
Duncan said the exact thing. He's like, you better pace yourself or you're going to be in trouble in the middle of that show.
I know. That's why I didn't start drinking this until literally the show started because
yeah,
it's a tough time with milk. And I have it's hit or miss with ice cream, but when you put those two together, dang.
Forget it. Forget it.
Yep, this is just how much I love. This is how much I love the Shamrock Shake and milkshakes in general because I'm going to take the hit and it's going to be shaking and sweating in about 30 minutes. Okay, anyway.
Binge and purge. Binge and purge.
That's right. Anyway, so that the things we do for love. That's all I know.
Exactly. Reminds me of high school.
All right. Yes. Let's talk about shakes. Here we go. All right. So why talk about milkshakes when there's a world full of things happening? And here's why. Because shakes are delicious. It's spring and the self-imposed northern states ice cream shutdown is over. Mm-hmm. So for instance, because those of you that don't live up north, many places up in the northern tier, many ice cream establishments close for the winter. So if you've not experienced that, it's like this, there are some places like the Dairy Queen will stay open and things like that because they serve burgers and stuff. But many ice cream establishments, for instance, the Cup and Cone down in White Bear Lake will often close down. So they just opened, Joe and I went there for ice cream cones on Thursday when we were on our way back up from the cities, which was a treat. So anyway, Northern imposed ice cream shutdown is over. It is Shamrock Shake season. And technically, it's the 50th anniversary of the Shamrock Shake. Now, technically, last year was the 50th anniversary, but because it was 2020, we didn't celebrate it. We just drank our shake and shut up about it. So we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Shamrock Shake right now. So there. And you'll notice the background for our slides is the same color of green as the Shamrock Shake. That was not by accident, to be clear. So
to be clear, no, are you kidding me? You can't get this color by accident.
No, this is let's just say the scientists at McDonald's are doing their job and doing it well. So good job, you guys. Yeah. All right. So the brief history of the milkshake. And again, like everything back in the day, it was terrible. So back in the day, the late
pre-refrigeration.
pre-refrigeration, milkshakes were very different. It was more of like an eggnoggy, frothy thing that they would put whiskey in because everything was terrible in the 1800s, and whiskey was their way of dealing with the terribleness of everything. Because look at those people like working at the fields in a dress. Seriously.
And a long dress.
I hear women say that all the time, like, well, I was born in the wrong century. I'm like, do you mean you were born too early? Because this is rough right now for women. Now I want you to imagine what it was like 200 years ago for women. Duh.
Duh. Yeah. Like 60 years ago. Exactly. Like you're not wearing a corset, and nursing a baby while you work on the farm.
On the farm with your baby hanging off of you. So yeah, there's just nothing about that looks fun. So yeah, whiskey, because all they could do for milkshakes was just froth some egg and put some milk in it, and ugh.
Exactly. Gross. And when you're like half in the bag, everything's a little bit better.
It's a little bit less terrible. Agreed. Mm-hmm. All right. But fortunately, ice cream production was modernized by a Baltimore milk dealer named Jacob Fussell in 1851. And so he started mass producing ice cream at his dairy in Baltimore. And so, there was ice cream before that. It was around. It just wasn't, it was not for the masses yet. You basically were a rich person who had access to your own ice house in order to get ice cream. So, and eventually what happens is, of course, is somebody figures out you put some milk in that ice cream and you stir it up and it's yummy and it's easy to consume. And as my husband has said many times, as long as you make it easier for Americans, they'll latch on to it. So pretty much anything will be successful that allows Americans to be lazier than they already are. And we've seen that again and again and again and again and again. So the straw.
Mm-hmm. 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 Anything that allows us to eat in our car more easily.
Yes. Joe, did I tell you that Joe got a new truck? So he was having those issues with the Toyota. And so he got a Ford instead of that Toyota truck. And all I have to say, and we both noticed it, it's a very American car. It's so much more intuitive and easier to eat in that car than it was in the Toyota. So much better. Like the whole front end is like a giant table, Got like massive cup holder. And then right behind you, massive cup holder. I'm like, yeah, baby, you could get the child-sized big gulp,
Exactly, because Duncan and I both own Japanese cars, and they have these chintziest cup holders ever. I'm like, they're like kind of behind you, so they're hard to reach into, and they're too deep, so you lose your cup. And I'm like, there's no place to put your fries. I mean, it's just like, completely. I'm like, how do you expect me to like drive and eat in this car?
No, that's the beauty of the Ford, is that you literally could set up a banquet for 18 in that front seat. It's amazing.
They know what we like. We want our entertainment center and a place to put our giant beverage.
Correct. So anyway, thank you, Jacob Fussell, for mass producing ice cream. You're the man. All right. So then we have to thank Hamilton Beach, because in 1911, Hamilton Beach made it even easier to enjoy a milkshake. They invented the first drink mixer, the Hamilton Beach Cyclone drink mixer, and there it is. So it's funny because if you look at it, milkshake machines really haven't changed that much in 110 years. So pretty nice.
Yeah, I was going to say that hasn't, other than now they're like cuter colors, but yeah.
Cuter colors. And Joe figured out, like, if you've ever gone to McDonald's and gotten a McFlurry, they have the weird straw. Yeah, the weird straw is how they mix it. That way they don't have to constantly clean it and change it. They just pop that thing off and it's already in your thing. Geniuses. And again, in terms of making it even easier to do stuff, I don't know if anybody does it better than McDonald's. You can say what you want, but they have figured it out. That's all I know.
How to get stuff in here faster.
Yes. Again, make it faster and easier so that, like you said with our dad, our dad, when he would go through a drive-through, he didn't even want to have to apply the brakes when he was going through a drive-through. He literally just wanted to be able to cruise through, stick his hand out, get his stuff, and go.
Throw money at the window, have them throw bags of food at his window, never have to apply the brakes.
Correct. So there's that. All right, so then we get even easier with Stephen Poplawski inventing the blender in 1922. And again, milkshakes just pretty much took off from there, and they basically became a staple in the 40s and 50s. So thanks, dude, for inventing the blender, because now you get milkshakes at home. Now you can just buy the milk and the ice cream yourself, put it in your home blender, and there you get to enjoy it. There you go.
Except we don't call them milkshakes anymore. We call them smoothies.
Mm.
Don't tell me there's any difference. Oh, this one's got some blueberries in it, so it's a smoothie. Okay.
It's healthy, and if this is a smoothie, it's healthy.
Exactly.
So there you go. Yay. All right. So then that takes us to the McDonald's Shamrock Shake. So anyway, that was your brief history of the shake. Like I said, it's not a very deep and meaningful history, other than, you know, we've gotten better at mixing stuff and combinations and adding calories. I think it's Baskin Robbins. One of their shakes, literally, it's like 3,500 calories for like a shake. Just one. So some fun facts about the McDonald's Shamrock Shake, because like I said, this is all about celebrating the Shamrock Shake today. It was created in 1967 by Hal Rosen, Connecticut McDonald's owner and operator. And it was specifically to celebrate, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So yay. And it was so wildly popular that McDonald's added it to their national menu in 1970. So again, 51 years now of Shamrock Shakes. And it's interesting because there's been some evolution of the Shamrock Shake. So the early versions were actually citrus, so like a lime flavor instead of mint, which is gross.
Like, there's nothing like milk and citrus together.
Delicious. So then, like in the late 70s, McDonald's pulled the citrus flavor, and then they just had vanilla with green food coloring in it. So it's just essentially a green vanilla shake. And it wasn't until the early 80s that they moved to the national mint flavor. So all across the board, Shamrock Shakes became mint in 1983. But I got to tell you, and I've always felt this about the Shamrock Shake, is that there is a hint of mint flavor, but because of whatever artificial mint they're using, it always has sort of this undertone of citrusy flavor. So
who's got the sophisticated palate? Jenny Brothers, you do.
That's right. So, and also McDonald's has continued to evolve the Shamrock phenomenon by now you can get not only a Shamrock Shake, but as you can see in the picture, you can also get the Shamrock Mcflurry, which is essentially the Mcflurry, which is their Oreo/vanilla treat. You can get it now with that delicious Shamrock flavor. So, yay. So you got choices, America.
As long as it's easy to eat.
That's right, and it is. So yeah. Now, as far as this is the last piece of the puzzle, like everything that McDonald's touches, there's always some weird and scary. So for instance, one bit of weird and scary is Ronald McDonald, which is a McDonald's icon that you and I grew up with. Again, anything dealing with clowns is weird and scary. Then, of course, you have to consider Grimace, which is a weird.
Can we just say purple butt plug? Can we just get that out of the way and say purple butt plug?
We could say that. I don't know. Grimace has always been I'm like, what? Grimace is not necessarily something I associate with things that are likable. Like if you're grimacing, it's usually in pain or disgust or discomfort of some sort. So again, I'm like, why you would want this fun purple happy thing to be called Grimace and why it's in the McDonald's universe? I don't know. And then finally, if we're talking about the Shamrock Shake, we have to talk about Uncle O'Grimacy. That's right. It's Grimace's weird uncle with a shillelagh and a Shamrock Shake. So, and again, this is something that they busted out in the late 70s and early 80s was the St. Patrick version of Grimace. So yeah, and that was a thing too.
Exactly. I have a great idea. I just came up with this great idea.
Well, I think there's a lot of weed involved in the McDonald's universe because it's like hamburger, weird and creepy. The bird, what was the bird called?
I can't
remember. That bird that came out at the same time as Chicken
McFlurry. It was like a weird with braids. It had braids, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Again,
I remember.
Also weird. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the McDonald's universe is brought to you by weed. So
yeah. Maybe mushrooms too.
Yeah. Some of the stuff is so terrifying that it can only be brought to you by harder drugs like weed and PCP. So, so there you go, folks. Your history of milkshakes and the history of the McDonald's Shamrock Shake. And I have good news. The Shamrock Shake now starts up in like February, so you can get it early. And then you probably still got a good week to get your Shamrock Shake because they keep it around while supplies last. But just remember, St. Patrick's Day is Wednesday this week. So if you're going to get your Shamrock Shake on, you need to do it soon. So
because supplies aren't going to last.
No, supplies are limited, and I think that's okay.
I think that's okay too. That way, it makes us appreciate it for the tiny, small window that we have. Then we can say, "Oh, yay! I appreciate this now because it's only for a short time."
Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I finished my shake. It was delicious.
I got a little bit to go yet. I'm debating whether I'm going to finish it. Because I'll be honest with you, not that good.
It's not as good as you remember.
Like I said, when they went to the McCafe version of the shakes, they have not been as good. So they're less shaky than they used to be. They're more I don't know how to describe it. More frappuccino-y and less shaky. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't want a frappuccino. If I want a frappuccino, I'll go to Starbucks, man.
I'm pretty sure there's like some sort of, Shamrock Shake version of a frappuccino. There has to be. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't doubt it for a second, because why would you not cash in on that? That seems it would be like an economic blunder. You should definitely cash in on that.
Agreed. So yeah. That's right. That's everything you need to know, but we're afraid to ask about the Shamrock Shake. So.
About all shakes. Now we know.
Yes.
By a bunch of old white guys who, yay.
Yes. And the good news is that you can always, if you're sad that there's no longer booze in shakes, don't worry. Every bar has booze versions of shake. What do you think the mudslide is? Hello.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I got a cat after I had three versions of some sort of milkshake, banana split with a ton of booze in it. And then we found, somebody was giving away kittens on the way home. We're like, oh, I'll take one.
I'll take 2 kittens. Yeah.
I wanted another one.
So, you don't have to worry. You can get a shake for you and a shake for the kids. Just make sure you know which one has the booze in it, because that can get awkward in a hurry. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. So, there you go. The history of the milkshake. So
excellent. Good job, Jenny Brothers. I did no help this week other than to say, hey, I have a great idea. Let's do a show about milkshakes, and then have Duncan to go buy me an expensive milkshake. And then that was it. I didn't. And then just, to be here and laugh at what you say. So, yay. Yeah. Good job for me.
Well, we all have important jobs to do, and that was your job this week, and you did it.
Yeah.
So I was on spring break this week, so I had extra time to do stuff. So, yeah. Now I got to go back to school, so I'm not going to have any extra time to do stuff, which is stupid.
What a waste of time. Working is a huge waste of time.
It really is. This whole money thing to pay for stuff is super inconvenient. I got a large bird in my, what is that? Oh, that's a starling. I have a starling in one of my bird feeders.
Ew.
Yeah. I know, it's been, they've been a little stingy. The birds haven't been coming around very much. Apparently they're just all spoiled.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have this, usually a bit of a downtime where I first have sunny days, at first start of spring, where I don't get too many birds, and then all of a sudden they're back again. They're like, oh, hey.
I forgot I was hungry.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So, that's okay. So, Ann, I think we're going to do a show coming up on the Mount Rushmore of Muppets. So,
yeah, we need to have a criteria, because Duncan and I started talking about Muppets yesterday. And we were wondering, is it just Muppets from the Muppet Show or also the Muppets from Sesame Street?
Yes, and the reason we're doing that is because it's much harder when you have to throw the two together. Okay. So, yeah, it's all Muppets, but not Fraggle Rock, because those aren't really Muppets, and those were the worst. So, yeah. And you also have to bring in the whole Elmo universe, because, of all of the Muppets, Elmo had people beating people up for his toy for a long time. So This is going to be, it'll be controversial because you have certain people that were brought up on Sesame Street, so those are the only Muppets they know. And you have other people that were pretty much brought up on the Muppet Show, so those are the Muppets that they know. So which Muppets are truly foundational?
Yeah.
For me, like I said, we'll talk about this. And Jim and Tammy, Muppet experts, Jim and Tammy are going to join us for that show. So.
Yeah, that's a hard one because then we started talking about our favorite Muppets, but would they still be in the Muppets on the Mount Rushmore? Because I'm like, my favorite Muppet probably isn't going to be a Mount Rushmore Muppet, but you know, so my favorite one's Ralph the dog from the Muppet Show. That's my favorite.
You know what? You're not alone on Ralph the dog. Mine is Miss Piggy because she's a feminist icon, so and a gay icon.
And Miss Piggy's like my second favorite. I'm like, she to me, she's even before Kermit. So that's probably controversial right there. But no, she's power to the women.
Power to the pig, baby. Yeah, seriously, what I learned about being a strong female, much of that I learned from Miss Piggy and the fact that she just wouldn't take shit from anybody.
Exactly. I also learned once again, another role model of how women are funny. I'm like,
for real. Yeah, no.
I'm like Miss Ball, Carol Burnett, Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy. Boom. No, so and then you've got those that were like, well, what about Big Bird? I'm like, yeah, I don't really ever get Big Bird. But then you got like Cookie Monster, and you have Bert and Ernie. And would you separate? I mean, Bert and Ernie are a pair. I'm like, would you separate?
A pair, exactly. I'm like, So I was like, that's the thing. Big Bird. I'm like, he had his own documentary. I mean, so.
Yep. I know. But Kermit is the foundational piece of all of the Muppet movies. So I know we could go on and on, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. But I think that's going to be that will be either next week or the week after, depending on Jim and Tammy's availability. So
okay, sounds good. Yeah, next Sunday I picked up a shift at work, so I can do this, but we'll either have to be later in the day or on Saturday, either one. So.
Okay, either way, that's cool. That's cool. All right, well, if you're just joining us, we talked milkshakes today because of the Shamrock shake season. Yeah, baby. So if you're curious about milkshakes or the history of it, all I can say is that if there is a local ice creamery nearby, go give them your money. They need it because it was a long, cold COVID winter, previous to a long, weird COVID summer. So go spend some money. Go buy that milkshake. Go get that extra large ice cream cone. Don't be afraid to get it dipped with sprinkles. Don't be afraid to get a sundae. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, indeed.
Cool.
All right,
Jenny
guys.
Brothers.
Thanks for joining us, Ann Brothers, and have a nice rest of your weekend.
I will.
And, I can't wait to get my present in April.
I know.
Hey, you guys, we will be coming at you the next couple weeks, but just know that I finally get to travel. So I will be traveling to Michigan in just a few weeks, and we will be having a live show together for the first time since we started this. So I know, right? I know,
right? We might have more than one.
we might have like 5 in a row because we're going places. We're doing stuff. We are both fully vaccinated. Yes. So, but I still will be wearing a mask in public because that's a smart thing to do. Yeah. Okay.
Save some money, and now I want to go spend it.
I know. I've got so much money to spend, and I'm gonna. All of it. I'm gonna spend all the money. Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, you guys. Peace out.
Bye.